Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to W.M.S.T podcast. Here tonight, we will be reviewing El Camino. So, yeah, I'm sorry, man. I know you're very particular with that spelling and pronunciation. So, yeah, I just watched it like 30 minutes ago, but Shawn watched it uh, in a theater on the big screen. So, and Shawn is a big, huge, enormous Breaking Bad fan. So, Shawn, what did you think of El Camino?
All right, I'm going to give my non-spoiler and spoiler review in one
Yeah, go
because
right
it's going to
ahead.
take a long time.
Yeah.
I drove 200 miles away from my house to stay in a hotel and to watch this movie on a big screen, and I promise you, it was worth every fucking second I did it. Non-spoiler review, this movie was so amazing. If you are a fan at all of Breaking Bad or have seen it and enjoyed the show, you're gonna love this movie. It ties up everything so perfectly with a bow, kisses you on the mouth, and sends you off like satisfied and smiling. The cinema certain things, Jesus, holy, it's brilliant. Aaron Paul's acting it never at all disappoints. It's perfect. Vince Gilligan's mind and script for this movie was just oh my god, it was so brilliant and so well made to cap off like any last minute questions we had on Breaking Bad. It was perfect. Every second of the movie was worth it. There was not a time when you ever get bored. You were always intrigued with this, and it just stellar. I give it a 15 trillion out of 10. And now my spoiler review, and okay, here we go. They so how they introduce Jesse's want to go to Alaska with Mike in a flashback, beautiful. They that's one of the things they tied up. They literally kicked off the movie like seconds after Breaking Bad ended, which I thought was brilliant. Um, them showing Jesse going straight to Skinny Pete's and seeing how battered and PTSD driven he is excellent to show the pain and torture he went through, and actually showing clips of him getting tortured. It was not good. It was terrible, but it was good to know what he went through thoroughly. They brought back Ed. They brought back Todd, Joe, um, Jane, and even the man himself, Walter. For bringing back Joe is what it should have been. Quick and brief, because that's what he was in the show. Quick and brief. To bring back Ed, he was a big important part of the show, so he was a big important part of the movie. Mike, they even brought back. They showed it was brief, but that's all they could really do with him, because they showed how much he meant to Jesse. Um, but for Todd, them bringing back Todd, my least favorite character in the show, because of how much I hated him, not because he was a bad actor, showing how psychotic and just terrible he is from strangling and killing a maid over just finding his money when she probably didn't know anything, and then literally after like showing how he treats Jesse like a pet, showing how much hell he's going through, and how like and even when Jesse wants to shoot him, he's just so weak, and he's so submissive over him because of how much power he had over him. So he didn't have a choice. Them actually showing how Jesse being outside of captivity with Todd was really unnerving, and just the whole like not relationship, but the whole camaraderie they had was really just it bothered me how much he went through, and bringing back Walt really that whole scene was just you cannot just not feel good about that. It was beautiful. It showed the after 4 days out where they get stranded, and just like they picked up Denny's, Grand Slam, a bed, and like they tied up everything by the exact same outfits, the exact same mindset Jesse was in, the exact same condition Walt was in. This movie is definition of fan service to somebody who loves the show and who is passionate about the show, and this was worth every second I was in the theater. It was brilliant, every part of it. This is the movie of the decade for me. This is my favorite movie because of how much Breaking Bad means to me. I've watched Breaking Bad 18 times, and I will watch this 18 times, a million times, because that's how much I love this movie. For someone who wants to study film, this is what you look at for how amazingly well it was edited. A unique take on how to take how to bring Jesse's story into place and adding even new characters like Candy, the mechanic or repairman or something. That was really just like, oh jeez, like that was like, I didn't realize when he arrived at Todd's place that he was also part of that connection, and even someone who didn't really get recognized when in the episode, I believe, was Rabid Dog, where Jesse's going to confront Walt in the Albuquerque square and the town where everyone meets, and he sees this big bald tall guy standing there. He thinks it's a threat. He even brings him back, which is a big shocker because I immediately noticed him. I'm like, oh my god, like that. They're just tying everything together. Before Breaking Bad tied everything up, it did, but there were still some loose ends, some loose ends. Now it is tied up completely into a perfect bow, and everything about this I can't stress enough. For someone who loves Breaking Bad, nobody loves it as much as I do. But for someone who loves the show, you will not be disappointed. You will love every single second, and I mean every second of this movie. Vince Gilligan and Aaron Paul, give them all the Emmys. I mean, leave some for Joaquin Phoenix, but Aaron Paul, you are winning the Emmy. Vince Gilligan, you are winning the Emmy, the Oscar, whatever. You could just give them the awards, give them everything. Literally, I will hand them money out of my wallet just for the love of it. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. Can't stress it enough. 15 million out of 10.
I mean, I can't even compute 15 million to the other scores, but you know what? That's fine. Well, I share pretty much the same sentiment as you. I really enjoyed this movie, honestly. Uh, as like a new Breaking Bad fan, obviously I didn't get to experience the highs and lows like you, but uh, definitely the cinematography is definitely some of the best I've seen this year and in the past years. The acting, Aaron Paul is just so great. Like I know he's a very talented actor, and and I always remember his voice from BoJack Horseman. He did a good job on that show too. So yeah, very talented actor. And, like he just sold his pain and suffering really well throughout the movie. That like he just felt for the guy throughout the movie. Uh, and now a little bit of the spoilers for the movie. That uh, that last uh, the third act where they began the third act where they had the Wild West type of shooting.
Yeah.
But that was pretty badass. Like I was like, oh okay, this is gonna be intense. And then when he shot him through his jacket, I was like, wow, that was
I
creative.
was not expect. I mean, I had a feeling like he's not just gonna take a 22. Cause I shot a 22. That it doesn't do shit. But like just a brilliant it's a new thing. Like you can't compare it to oh, it's not Breaking Bad. It's its own thing. It has to do with Breaking Bad. It's still in the same timeline, but it's like it's Jesse's story. This is how Jesse does it. Like
Yeah, true. And then he blows up the whole place. Really
that was
awesome.
so badass. Like I was like, oh my god, you're
Yeah.
genius.
Yeah, and it was nice to see Jesse get his, peaceful ending.
Oh, that was the letter to Brock. I completely forgot.
Yeah, letter to
The letter
Brock.
to
Yeah.
Brock. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. Now he gets to live peacefully in Alaska. Forget about everything Walt did to him and
Well, he
just
will never
live
forget, that's for
happily.
sure. But
But he'll do his best. Live. He did mention. Remember, he's like, it's very silent out here. So he's gonna definitely do his best to forget about all that and just live his life.
yeah,
Honestly, really beautiful stuff. I mean, I can't compete with your 15 million out of 10, but I will give this a 10 out of 10.
I promise you and I don't know if certain people will agree with me, and that's fine. But this completely destroyed Joker.
I personally disagree with that. I still think Joker is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, though, which is a higher grade than 10 out of 10. But I feel
Well, I
like
gave it
can't really.
15 million.
Yeah, true. But yeah, but I think still Joker is the best movie for me this year so far. Endgame second, and then El Camino third.
For me, it's El Camino 1. Everything else does not matter.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, I got you. But yeah, like, dude, honestly, bro, like last Thursday when I went to watch Joker, uh, it was it was so weird because it was me, my friend, and my brother. We went to watch Joker, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we were checking our tickets, because I had like the tickets on my phone, like police officers was standing right there. Like usually there's police officers at my theater, but there were literally three standing right there. And we checked our tickets and we were like headed to our theater room, and we're like, God dang, there's so many police officers. And then every theater that's playing Joker, there's an officer standing right in front of the theater room. Like real cops from like the department are there, not just like mall security. And I'm like, and it felt so powerful for me to like walk into a theater where there's so many police officers. I'm like, God dang, I'm really gonna see something special, aren't I? Like, it added to the experience. And I was like, damn, this is really gonna be exciting. Like, they're so afraid of people reacting to this movie violently. But the funny thing is, nothing happened. It's been a week since Joker released. Nothing happened. People have been praising the movie. No shooting, nothing happened. No violence. And this movie literally made the media look like clowns because they were hoping something bad would happen so they can point to this movie and be like, see, I was right. This movie does inspire something. I'm like, and
It's
guess
the
what?
classic Scream quote. They don't make the psycho. The media doesn't make a crazy person. It just makes a crazy person more creative.
Exactly. And guess what? Nothing happened. Zilch, nada. Like the most violent thing that happened was a guy cheering during the murder scenes or something like that. And I'm like, you guys are clowns. You guys are a bunch of clowns. That is nothing. And I think another thing was like some guys put out a poster near an AMC saying, "Oh, no singles during Jokers. You got to be with a partner to come watch Joker." That's it. That's like a silly prank somebody pulled, and they were like, "Oh, look how violent that is." So that, I mean, the movie was a masterpiece in every sense of the word. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna go into spoilers because I got my boy Cam here, who hasn't seen it, but he's gonna see it pretty soon. But honestly, can't believe how awesome Joker was and how it made media look like a bunch of clowns that they are. So, what have your thoughts been on this Joker hysteria?
It's not that deep, honestly.
Honestly.
It's a movie. I know you're trying to make it. They're trying to make a mountain out of a molehill and trying to make this movie seem like, oh no, you shouldn't take your children to see this movie. Of course you shouldn't take your kids to see this movie. It's an R-rated movie. It has murder. It has expletives. This isn't a circus movie, kids. This isn't even the It miniseries, where it's tame in comparison to the first two chapters 1 and 2.
Yeah, and the funny
If you're expecting to actually say, if you're expecting to think, oh my God, my son has been influenced by this movie, it's your fault for taking him.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason for that R rating, and if you're an adult and you're offended or disturbed by this movie, there's something wrong with you. You're weak-minded, and you probably don't understand actual cinema. And I honestly can't wait for Joker to pass 400 million by the end of this weekend, because people are definitely hoping this movie would fail. But all that hysteria has made people even more interested in watching this movie. And in a weird way, thanks to that hysteria, people are exposed to this masterpiece. So, you always got to look at the bright side.
Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed that video, and make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And click on the channel to check out some more awesome videos like our movie and wrestling debates and our interviews with people like the Wrestling Classic and Jordan Jomo from the IGWC. And we are definitely looking into delivering you all some more content in the near future, so definitely be on the lookout for that. And thank you for your support.